last night, as soon as my internet got attacked, okay, as soon as my ISP was destroyed, and I went offline, Iran launched a barrage of missiles into Israel, which is, I guess, expected at this point, you know? And this is coming after there was a whole will they, won't they style ceasefire that was released in the most unceremonious ways possible, in the strangest ways possible. Donald Trump didn't make it clear what the ceasefire was looking like. None of the people involved, none of the parties involved actually officially signed off on said ceasefire. It was basically as though Donald Trump came off the phone and was like, I'm doing a ceasefire. Enough, cut it out now. And then I guess it happened, kind of like a couple hours after that initial tweet, like an hour later, the Iranian government kept saying, no, we didn't get a ceasefire proposal at all. But then they were like, just kidding, we did get one. And if Israel stops striking right now, then we'll stop retaliating as well. But then Iran seemingly had one last salvo remaining, which they ended up sending Israel's way. This was a very deadly attack. This was one of the deadliest attacks for Israel. 5 people died in the process. And then Israel obviously was not going to take that. And they apparently sent airplanes in the direction, like bombing planes in the direction of Iran. And then Trump was like freaking the fuck out over it and tweeting and complaining about Israel, saying like, you better not do it. Okay. But yeah, let's do it. Let's get it twisted. Let's get it poppin'. Here is what's happening right now. Here's the latest. Trump rants at Israel and Iran as ceasefire is violated within hours. Greatest ceasefire president of all time. Greatest peacekeeper president of all time. Spectacular show, sir. You done did it again. Once again, sir, you are saving the world. Thank you for the ceasefire.
Fragile and still hanging in the balance. A furious Donald Trump today said the ceasefire he declared official at 6 a.m. this morning has been violated by both Iran and Israel. But in comments to reporters, he reserved his harshest criticism for Israel, closing them with an expletive.
You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one...
That was crazy. I mean, he just straight up... he just straight up gave a play-by-play. Okay? And by the way, trigger warning, guys. The president is about to be a meanie, okay? I'm just letting y'all know. Get ready. He's about to say a bad word.
Rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand?
Oh, that's so funny. In the past, what just took place right here would be like major news. It would be major news. It would drive discourse for months. But of course, in the past, I don't think that there would be a situation where the American president decides that there is a ceasefire going on after after bombing Iran, a sovereign nation. Okay, bombing Iran, a sovereign nation, and then claiming that there's a ceasefire on his own social media application that he had to create because he was banned off of Twitter. The comments from even the blue check marks are amazing. Anthony Blinken, some thoughts on the strikes against Iran's nuclear program? Opinion, Iran's diplomacy failed. I hope his airstrike succeeds. Yeah, interesting. Interesting that Twitter liberals are fighting this battle for no reason, it seems. Twitter liberals are living in this like fantasy world where they think like the Democratic Party is actually super against going to war with Iran. And every Democrat that has said anything about this in a position of power has basically reiterated their commitment to bombing Iran over and over again. Like, they just keep saying over and over again, like, no, we love to bomb Iran. We wish we were doing it. We wish you asked us before you bombed Iran. Why didn't you invite us to bomb Iran? I love bombing Iran. Can we bomb Iran tonight, Queen? And then Twitter liberals are like, Kamala Harris would never bomb Iran. It's like, okay, well, I guess every single other Democrat was down to do it, but not Kamala, even though she's also noticeably absent from the conversation. It's not like she's dead. You know, why is she not saying, hey, I, Kamala Harris, would not have bombed Iran if I was president? Because it would be a great opportunity for her to say, you know, that that this is ridiculous and fucked up. Like, I want her to say that. You know what I mean? I don't even believe her, but I want her to say it at least. So Donald Trump is pissed because the ceasefire basically was the shortest lived ceasefire of all time, I think. Iran did the Israel method in both its targeting, in both its impact sites, which, you know, had a bunch of civilians in the residential buildings that they hit, but also pulled an Israel method where they also sent like a final barrage, a big volley at the end, right? And one of the last missiles that they sent was past the point of the ceasefire. Now, there might be a different mindset here. It's like, is it about when the missiles get sent, or is it about the missile impact time? Because if it's about the missiles being sent, then like technically there was only a couple that were sent after the ceasefire period started. In any case, you know, they were trying to hit a buzzer beater, I guess. I don't know. But that's like what Israel does all the time. Israel did this with Lebanon. If you recall, they literally did the most aggressive pummel, the most aggressive volley on their way out of Lebanon. And then they kept shooting at Lebanese villagers while they were withdrawing from Lebanon. So obviously that's not, you know, that's yet again Iran behaving a little bit to the fractionally as bad as Israel behaves with regular frequency. And then, of course, everyone that defends Israel loses their mind whenever another country does Israel shit, even if it's like marginally, even if it's like almost a fraction of the harm that Israel does with regular frequency. But here it is. Let's continue.
It was late last night that Trump in his trademark capitals posted, "Congratulations to everyone. There will be a complete and total ceasefire. An official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world." But there was still time for both sides to launch a last volley of attacks.
It's so that the 12-day war thing is so Trump. That is so fucking Trump. Like, you know, you have the famous 6-day war, and he wants to like trademark it, right? Like, he wants to be the guy. He wants to be the guy who like trademarks something like that, and it will be remembered in like history books or whatever. And that's precisely the reason why it's like he does not, like, even if he doesn't care whether or not the ceasefire is violated or whether or not like Israel continues bombing Iran or whatever. Obviously, he cares as far as like it makes him look bad. But I'm not joking when I say this. I feel like his real anger and resentment stems from this potentially not being a 12-day war, but a 13-day one. Okay? Like, he wants the marketing to be the 12-day war, double the amount of the 6-day war. So when they like, if they continue fighting back and forth, well, he already trademarked it as the 12-day war. What do you mean? That's an extra day. We can't have it be the 13-day war. Because Trump already said 12-day war. He already promised maximum peace, permanent peace. Like, you guys are ruining it. You guys are fucking the bag up for him. Like, he had a whole initiative behind this. Like, he had a whole marketing team behind it. Like, he's like, what are we gonna do? Send these hats and t-shirts to Africa? Like the losing NBA team? You know what I mean? Like, we already made the merch, dog. You can't make it 12 and a half days of war. We made the merch. We had it ready to go. What do you mean? We have to go back now and reprint? We can't do that. He's so petty and such a diva. I, for one, totally believe this. I think that is definitely a primary interest here. That for sure is a primary focus here. Osita says, despite the best efforts of his advisors and donors, Trump simply does not have. This is one of the best takes, by the way. I love Osita. Brilliant guy. I had a take on this as well, but like I think Osita's take on this was so perfect. Like the whole fuck thing and the anger thing. Despite the best efforts of his advisors and donors, Trump simply does not have the political discipline to maintain the pretense that Israelis are rational and reasonable actors. Signs of his political inexperience. He seems genuinely upset here. What is this? It's theater response to everything. Theater for who? For what? Who comes out looking good with more power? Trump? The Israelis? Do you think the Israelis need a permission structure to do strikes here? That Trump knows what he's doing? Oh, it's theater. Oh, it's fake. Anytime anything at all happens. All right, then explain. Lay out the analysis or shut up. Osita is 100% correct. Trump understands the dynamic between America and Israel, okay? And he doesn't like it when Israel actually steps out of line. Under normal circumstances, because the whole Israeli indifference or Israeli arrogance is supposed to be priced in to the American foreign policy interests, Joe Biden doesn't run into this problem where he's like openly disturbed and openly resentful about, Benjamin Netanyahu violating yet another red line. Okay. Donald Trump, on the other hand, doesn't have that same acumen and have that experience politically to turn around and just quietly say, oh, we're going to show Benjamin Netanyahu what's what. Like, this is a real moment of anger. This is one of the only times I've seen Donald Trump like actually pissed off. Political inexperience. The man has been in politics officially for a decade. It's just his character, not experience. Chatter. 1 decade in politics is political inexperience. Joe Biden was a senator and then the vice president and then the president for a career that spanned for like 60 years. What are you talking about? A decade is nothing. Yeah, Joe Biden was in there for like almost half a century plus. So, but yeah, my take on it also was this. I said, once again, one phone call is all it takes. And if it doesn't work, weapons embargo. And if that doesn't work, sanctions. And if all of that doesn't work, military invasion. This is why it'll never go beyond the phone call. Because Donald Trump was tweeting a storm earlier when Israel was very angry and wanted revenge for this. Okay. Because this was Israel receiving a little bit of Israel-style behavior.